The House comes to questions for oral answer. Question number 1, in the name of the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, this question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by all his statements?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Does he stand by his statement in 2010 that, and I quote him, looking 4, 5, 10 years into the future, I'd hate to see New Zealanders as tenants in their own country? End of quotes. If so, why, after almost 7 years, has his government failed to collect specific information on foreign buying of land and homes in New Zealand?
Mr. Speaker.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, in answer to the first part of the question, yes.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Show. Is he aware that both Beijing and Shanghai, for example, have laws preventing non-residents inflating demand and buying houses in those cities? And does he consider such measures would be racist if applied here?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, well, every country has different rules, but what I would say is the current rules around foreign investment were actually passed by the Labor government in 2005. They're actually in line with the vast majority of developed countries. For example, in the UK, the US, Canada, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Sweden and many other OECD countries, there are no or very few restrictions on foreigners buying residential property. And when it comes to Australia, which theoretically has one in relation to second-hand properties, it's been spectacularly unsuccessful.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Why won't his government, in his own words, get some guts and introduce restrictions on foreign buyers of homes and land, like, for example, in China, Hong Kong and Singapore, or are they too racist and xenophobic?
The Right Honourable Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, well, before I start off, I'm proud to lead a government that if we were to make changes around foreign investment, it would be to every country and every ethnicity, and we wouldn't just cook things up and single people out.
Question.
Order.
Oh, yeah,
Order.
Yeah, right.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Is it
Order.
Is it not the case that his opposition to New Zealand First foreign ownership of land and homes register bill is that he is scared of Kiwis finding out under his watch just how much land and housing has been flogged off to overseas buyers?
Mr. Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, no, in our view it was poorly drafted.
Question number 2, Chris Bishop.
Is that it? That's it. My question is to Finance.
Order. Chris Bishop.